Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making pasta e piselli, which is pasta with peas. So I want to review some chopping techniques with you, and actually we're going to kind of mince up this onion. So if you can come and, so this onion, as you can see, we only need a quarter of a cup, actually less than a quarter of a cup. It says a half a cup. It calls for yellow onion, but all I had was red onion, so it's fine. So what you do is, if you remember, so we're gonna score this. It looks like I already scored it yesterday for tacos, but I'm gonna show you again. So I've scored it, okay? And then I'm gonna make myself a little ledge, all right? And then what I can do is just go down the line, and it cuts it nice and small for me, okay? So this would be like a small dice. Whoops, making a mess, okay? All right, it gets hard when you get down there. So since I've got some uneven pieces, I'm gonna run my knife through this, okay? And actually, I'm probably not gonna mince it all the way because I like onion and I like to be able to see it. So I'm gonna keep the chunks a little bit bigger. All right, so there we go. There's our onion. So that is more than a quarter of a cup. So I probably only need like half of that. All right, so technically I'm supposed to get a new knife, but it's all going in together. So I'm gonna use the same knife, and this is bacon. So bacon is what we're gonna render down and cook the onion in. So I'm going to kind of just slice my bacon thinly, okay? You can also use pancetta, which is an Italian type bacon, and it is saltier. But again, I didn't have pancetta. I had bacon that needed to be used, and so I'm gonna use that. So this dish is pretty versatile. All right, so since I have dealt with a meat, I'm gonna wash my hands, okay? And I had washed my hands before, and you can see that my hair is pulled back. All right, so next we're gonna saute. So if you can come closer. So I'm gonna put this on about medium heat, okay? And the full recipe, so I cut this in half, calls for about a half a cup of oil. I thought that was a lot. So I'm just gonna add a couple tablespoons, all right? This pasta dish is soupy, which means that it is, you know, it's not gonna be thick. It's gonna be a thinner sauce. So you can either heat your skillet up before you put your oil in, or put it in and heat it up, but it needs to be hot before you add your other ingredients, okay? So you can tell that it's hot when it starts to really kind of move around and bubble a little bit better, okay? Excuse my stove. I overflowed my pasta a few minutes ago, and I haven't been able to scrub it yet because it was too hot, okay? All right, so let me think about this. All right, here, let's talk about the pasta while we're waiting on that. You can back up and look at me. Okay, so this recipe calls for a whole wheat pasta, but again, I didn't have whole wheat pasta at the house, and so I'm just using the pasta that I use for mac and cheese, which is a regular small elbow. So I've already pre-cooked my pasta in boiling salted water, and I cooked it al dente, which means with a bite. And on the back it says al dente 6 minutes, okay? So I went ahead and I cooked it for 6 minutes, and I always use a timer. I've cooked for a long time, and I never not use a timer with pasta. It's just kind of foolish because then you're gonna overcook it. All right, so we can zoom back in. Our oil is ready. Okay, so you can hear, this is probably gonna splatter everywhere. Just keep looking at that while we're getting this out. I'm trying to get my splatter screen. All right. Let me get this real quick. Just keep looking at this. All right. So what we're doing with this bacon is we're rendering it down. So I went ahead and turned this up to about, I don't know, medium high heat, almost high heat. Okay. I'm just gonna leave that there. Get this people know. And when I can see that it's starting to cook, I'm going to put my onions in. So I probably put too much bacon in for the recipe, but I know that my kids like bacon, and who doesn't like bacon? So I figured I might as well just go ahead and add it. Okay, so there's almost a full amount of onion for this recipe. Now the nice thing about pastas is, you back up a little bit. So you can see me. Is it still going? All right, the nice thing about pastas is that if you don't have something, you can switch it up, okay? Or if you like an ingredient, you can increase it. It's not like baking where it's such a science that if you do not have all the ingredients in the same ratios, it's not going to come out right. So it's going to come out fine, okay? All right, so I put my spatter screen over there because I don't want oil and fat everywhere. So I'm looking at my recipe, and it says saute till onion is soft and bacon is lightly brown. Okay? So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to add my peas. Now, I forget what I used all my peas for the other day, but I used a bunch of peas. So I only have probably about a little less than half a bag. But that's fine because not everybody loves peas. So as long as there's a little bit of green in this, can you come see how this is? Come look at this. All right, so this is getting nice, okay? All right, so that's getting nice. All right, so you can back up. So in just a minute, I'm gonna add my peas, and then I'm going to add chicken broth, okay? I didn't have boxed chicken broth or canned chicken broth, but I did have concentrate, chicken concentrate. So I made my own. It was a teaspoon per cup, and so I did 2 cups, and then 2 teaspoons of the concentrate. Okay, so as you can see, this is getting nice. Can you come look at this? All right, this is getting all nice and browned up. I'm going to give it just another minute, okay? And I'm going to bring, just leave that there. You don't need to follow me over. All right, so I'm bringing this over here. Where did I put the Parmesan? Here it is. Calls for a little Parmesan at the end, okay? All right, so that's what the bacon was in, so I'm going to throw all that out in a minute. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, that's looking good right there. I would say in just a second. That's beautiful. And it smells very good. So remember, your bacon has a lot of salt in it. So you don't really need to put too much salt in this. Okay, remember that this has water in it. And there's a lot of fat in there, so I'm gonna stand back. Okay, put that on there. These are really nice to have if you don't have one, because it'll keep it from burning you. Oh man, doesn't that look good? Looks super good, okay? And what happened was the frozen peas cooled this down a little bit, okay? So that actually turned out to be the perfect amount of peas for this. All right, so very slowly I'm pouring my broth in, okay? And as you can look at all the oil that kind of got up there, the fat, all right? And that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this to a boil, okay? So it's gonna take a second. This looks really good. There. Here it comes. I gotta watch it so the same thing doesn't happen that happened to my pasta. It doesn't boil over. Okay, and the reason why I'm gonna bring it to a boil is because I'm gonna add my pasta to it, and my pasta is gonna soak up some of that hot liquid. So if you didn't like it this soupy, you could actually kind of boil it down a little bit, or just don't even add as much broth. Okay, I'm gonna turn that down. This is getting ready to go crazy. All right, so here I'm gonna slowly add my pasta. So make sure you have a big enough pot for this, because if you don't have a big enough pot, it's gonna be a mess, okay? Ooh, look at that, it looks so pretty. Okay. All right, so I'm just kind of letting this heat back up. My pasta's rewarming. Okay. I am gonna add some fresh ground pepper. Okay. I feel like this is gonna be pretty dang salty, so I'm not gonna salt it. The other thing that it calls for, just stay right there, is a little bit of, this is preference based, a little bit of crushed red pepper. It says you can add that, give it a little kick. You do not have to add that, but we like a little spice around here, so this would be, we like this addition. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna turn my heat off, and then I'm gonna plate this up. I'll just stay looking at that. Whoop, get a ladle. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna okay, and obviously this needs to get taken off the heat, and actually I'm trying to get a little more of this juice. So you could say this is a soup. Okay, you can come over, come and kind of zoom in right there. So it calls for a little bit of Parmesan. There's some Parmesan cheese, okay? And so as you can see, this is a pretty cheap, affordable dish. I can back up a little bit, zoom on me. This is an affordable dish. It's pretty easy. What did that take me? I don't know, under 10 minutes. And you could cook the pasta at the same time you're cooking. I would have not cooked it before. But this is a good meal, and it's gonna keep you full. Especially if you have the whole wheat pasta, it's gonna contain more fiber, but it has protein, it has all your amino acids because it has the peas and the bacon in there, and then this would be really good if you were sick too because it has the chicken broth. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope you try this out. Goodbye.